Hi everybody and welcome to another video. Now what you see here is Kepler-10. It's a star with a few exoplanets revolving around this particular star, and here in Universe Sandbox we see also the habitable zone of Kepler-10, depending really on the basically on the size and therefore on the illumination and the heat that is being created by the star. Now everything that is within the green zone we see here is the habitable zone, so an area where liquid water is possible, or water between 0 and 100 degrees, and we see that the candidates here around the Kepler-10 sun are a little bit too close to really be habitable for us humans. However, today I would suggest we are going to take a look into our Python coding things, and we take a look at the current list of exoplanets to determine how many planets are really habitable for us or for life as we know it here on Earth. So without further ado, I would suggest let's go to some Python coding and let's go. So I think we can get started here in our Google Colab environment. And for those of you who do not know what Google Colab is all about, it's a good and great service by Google to execute Python code and also to conduct some AI research and AI training of some models. However, for our work, we do not need AI capabilities or GPU power. However, if you do not have a Google account for Google Colab, or you say, I would like to do it on a local machine, don't worry. The next video will be about how to set things up on a local machine, because this is also, well, the code will be executable on also, not so powerful machines, because the code is pretty trivial, I would say. It would even run on a Raspberry Pi. However, this will be done in the next video, and I also update these kind of videos once a year because, things get sometimes updated, or things get updated regularly, and it would be nice also to have a most recent update or most recent video in this regard. However, we are going to start our coding session here, and what we want to do is we want to have a look at the habitable planets of exoplanets. So what kind of exoplanets are habitable? Where could life actually be? And for this we need, of course, first of all pandas, and we need also matplotlib. So from matplotlib import pyplot as plt. We can execute the script, and then afterwards we need to extract the exoplanet data. And where are we going to do? Well, I'm simply copy pasting it from my other script. It is from a website from the NASA or from Caltech. It's exoplanetarchive.ipac.caltech.edu. And the thing is that here at the end we have here some kind of query we can send, and in our case it's the exoplanet's name, the radius of the planet in Earth radii, the orbit period in days, in Earth days, and also the equilibrium temperature. And the temperature is not really like the actual temperature, it's more like an estimated value for a planet with no atmosphere and being a perfect black body. So not 100% realistic, but it gives us some kind of, I would say, hint. Now there are also other values and also other ways to filter for the data, but this is maybe not for today's session. I will throw in another video where I will show you the resources for this. Now the thing is that all my scripts are available on GitHub, so if you cannot follow the URL, don't worry, everything is on GitHub, so you can simply copy paste it from there and then continue working with it. We can now use pandas read CSV to execute also the URL, and then we get the full data frame, and the data frame has a size of 3,605 rows, so indicating that we know over 6,000 exoplanets currently. We have our 4 columns, as I just told you, with the exoplanet's name, the radius in Earth radii, the orbit period, and also the equilibrium temperature. And what I want to do today is I want to filter for the planets that are Earth-like, let's say, or they have the potential to be Earth-like. Of course, we don't know if there is an atmosphere, if the atmosphere is also habitable or good for us humans, but let's filter the data frame a little bit to something that makes sense. Now, since we want to have something that is, let's say, Earth-like, first of all, I would suggest that we are dropping some rows, namely we use drop NA, and we drop not based on all columns, but on two columns, namely the radius and also the temperature. So if we do not have any values in this regard, it will filter everything out. And from the 6,000 exoplanets, we have around 1,400 left. Now the question is, of course, what is a habitable planet? Well, this is a good question, right? As I just told you, we don't really know the definition, whether there is really a definition, also because we do not know whether there is a atmosphere or so. But what we can do, for example, is we can say, hey, okay, we want to have something that is maybe a little bit Earth-like. So we filter for the radii, for example, and we want to have only planets that have a radius larger than 0.8 Earth radii, and maybe that is also smaller than, let's say, 1.5, for example. So let me just copy paste it here and make it smaller than 1.5. The same thing also applies for the temperature, so I have to be careful. Now I have to copy paste it again, and it is PL_EQT. And we want it to be, let's say, smaller than 320 Kelvin. So something like, if I'm not mistaken, 70 degrees, 60 or so. Of course, we could also aim for larger temperatures, but let's leave it like this. I just see that I made a small copy paste mistake here within the brackets. And the question is, what is the lower range of this? And maybe I would suggest, yeah, let's take also some freezing temperatures, like for example, 200. Of course, this is a freezing world, but imagine maybe we have a, maybe there is like a very frosty world or so. But as I told you, this equilibrium temperature does not consider atmospheric effects and stuff like that. So it's a very simple approach, and yeah, you can play around with these values and see what kind of results you get. Now let's execute the script, and if we copy paste it simply again, we can see that we have around, I would say, 8 planets left. 8 exoplanets that have, that have, like, say, the parameters we just asked. So we have here, for example, one with I don't know, here 270 days orbit period and 200 Kelvin equilibrium temperature. But the most important thing is now that I want to plot these things into I would say meaningful plot. So something where we can also compare it with our home planet. And for this, I will simply copy paste the code. So just stay with me and maybe go to my GitHub repository. I would be really grateful for a star if you would, put it into your favorite list. Now here the code, what it does is pretty straightforward. I'm using matplotlib. You can also use Seaborn or other libraries. I'm using a dark background because dark background is always fancy and nice. And we create a scatter plot where we plot the the radius versus the orbital period. So this is what we are going to do. And I just see that I made a copy paste mistake because it's habitable planet. I wrote it down as planets. It's actually more correct, but anyway. And the habitable planets are here maybe in the green color. Non-habitable planets are in white. And additionally, I'm adding also our home planet with an orbital period of 365 days and a radius of 1, apparently. The other thing is also that I already took a look at the data, and we have to plot it in a logarithmic scale. And I just give it some names like hunting for Earth 2.0. Of course, this is a little bit, I would say, more like a toy example, but I think you get the idea. Let's execute the script. And sometimes in Colab, we get this error or this weird happen. It's a little bit weird that we get sometimes this white border here, the white frame. So we have to sometimes re-execute the script, and then we have the proper formatting. Now what we see here now is the radius on the y-axis versus the orbital period in days. And here are the candidates, and here's also planet Earth. Now what you see here is, like, I would say, 2 blobs of data. One with, let's say, small Earth radii and vast variation of orbital periods, because take note, this is it's given in a logarithmic scale. And here we have another blob, large radii and short orbital periods. And the question is this like really the distribution, the real distribution that we have in the cosmos? And most likely this is something called an observational bias. Because imagine that planets that are rather large and with a short period are, of course, darkening the star in front of them quite frequently. So we see a variation of the brightness, of course, way more often happening than, let's say, comparable to an object that is, for example, sitting here in this area. So this is an observational bias, and please do not take this as a, don't take this as a thing that is really describing the actual distribution, because that's not the case. So our home planet Earth here has probably a lot of different cousins in this area as well. But this really depends on our telescope capabilities and also our capabilities to conduct surveys in the cosmos. Anyway, I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoy the data a little bit. Try to play around a little bit with it. And in the next video, I will explain a little bit also where we get the data from. But first of all, I will take a look how to set up an environment for your local machine. So thanks for listening. And yeah, I would be really grateful if you would share this channel with your colleagues and friends who are also into astronomy. As I just told you, I'm trying to rebrand this a little bit, trying to create more smaller scripts, also more space lectures and stuff like that to educate all interested people out there. Have a nice day, have a great year 2026, and see you next time.